Camouflage and Cover-Ups is brought to you by the Coming Home Well Network and Clear Right Productions. We cover unusual topics about government cover-ups, military, murders, conspiracies, and maybe even aliens. Welcome to Camouflage and Cover-Ups with Jenn and Paige.
Hey, welcome to Camouflage and Cover-Ups.
Welcome.
I'm Jenn.
I'm Paige. I'm interrupting.
She's the interrupting mouse for the morning. Good morning or afternoon or evening whenever you're listening to this. I hope that you're having a great day, and thanks for tuning in to listen to some comedy about government cover-ups.
Oh, it's been an eye-opener for me.
It's wild.
It is wild. Yeah, I just, you always think, well, why didn't I hear about it? Oh, because it's the military.
Because they covered it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so today we're going to talk about experimentation.
Oh.
So we're heading to World War II.
Okay. That was a interesting time.
That was the 40s.
The 40s of it
It was
all.
like 80 years ago.
Wow. Doesn't that sound crazy?
It does.
Yeah, we were still born in the same century that the war took place.
But they're so much better than us.
Oh, so much hardier. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean,
could you imagine if we're like, hey, you're going to need to make sure that your kids aren't drinking out of a BBP or whatever kind of plastic cup that it,
a BDB.
They're like, grab the hose.
Grab the hose and stick it up your nostrils.
Exactly.
Well, the first one we're going to start off with is called Project Pigeon.
Okay.
So you ready for this?
I am.
All right. So we've heard of bomb dogs, drug dogs, aerial pterodactyls.
Wait.
What?
No.
No, you haven't heard of an aerial pterodactyl?
No.
I just like that there's a P in front of the word, a pterodactyl.
Oh, if you don't feel like an idiot, try looking up pterodactyl costume for your kid as an adult. You're like, oh,
It doesn't start with a T.
No, nope. Okay, so flying, what was it?
Yeah, aerial pterodactyl. I just made that one up.
Okay.
I was hopeful.
Woo, I'm thinking after 2020.
Did they bring them back?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, they're at the zoo.
Yeah. All right.
So, have you heard of war pigeons?
No, I've heard of racing pigeons because Mike Tyson keeps them.
Oh, wow.
Where are my pigeons?
Well, yeah, so a war pigeon, we could call them widgeons.
Widgeons? What's a war pigeon?
We're going to find out. All right, so picture it.
Yeah, I'm trying.
The U.S., that's the United States, in the 1940s. Okay, are you there?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm there.
World War II, and there's this guy named B.F. Skinner. He conceives an idea for the military. All right. So he's going to get an A for creativity on this one.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're goats, now they're pigeons. I can't wait.
All the animals. So B.F. Skinner was a behaviorist who worked with pigeons.
Do you really work with pigeons, though? I don't know much about them. Like I said, all I know is New York and Mike Tyson.
It's like pigeon programming.
Okay. Oh, no. Did they have little helmets?
I love that so much. When they have like a little helmet and like a little arm cuff, they got a parachute just in case the wings stop working.
Okay, this is a real story. I'm laughing out of uncomfortability.
We're here for comedy. Listen, if you guys don't like comedy and us making fun of these idiots, then
this ain't your show.
It's the wrong show for you. You can just move on. You don't need to give us a 1-star. Just
send us
whatever.
a courier pigeon.
Yeah. All right. So you're asking, how does the military and pigeons go together?
How do the military and pigeons go together?
Imagine this. You've got a pigeon. Now, pigeons are really smart, right? Mm-hmm. That's why they work as homing pigeons.
Pigeons?
Not the homies.
Well, you said New York. Maybe I said New York.
So my dad actually raised pigeons since he was 16 years old.
Really?
He's 150 now, so like whatever
So
that math
take
is.
away the 30.
Yeah. So him and his brothers, he has 4 brothers.
Oh.
So him and his brothers all did the racing pigeons.
Oh.
Yeah. So what you do is you train your pigeons a little bit at a time. So in your yard, then you take them down the street, then you take them down the road. Then anyway, so he lives outside of Bakersfield, but at this time he was living outside of LA. And him and his brother would drive from I guess he was in San Diego at the time, but he would drive from San Diego to LA. They would pack the pigeons up and they would drive them all the way up to Washington State. They got the little cuff on their ankle, the little ankle monitor that criminals get.
I just showed my kids a picture of that so they knew what that looked like.
It looks like a pager.
Yeah.
On your ankle.
And don't they have like little numbers along the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, those are used for like timing and stuff. So.
Oh, I thought they were just identification. Like.
Well, it is, but they get up really high, so they release them and then they bet on them.
Okay.
Right. So number 1 is gonna win, and so they launch them. They get into the airstream, and then they head down, and they go really fast. Like they can go up to 120 miles an hour. I mean, they're going really fast.
That's pretty impressive because if you just look eye to eye with a pigeon, they don't look like they've got a lot going on.
They're like, "Bah."
They're like, hey.
Like the pigeons that I saw in Hawaii.
Yeah.
In Waikiki, where you're like, where's your feathers, man?
What happened?
Why is your eye looking at me like that?
Why is the other eye looking at her like that? Wow. So how did he get, I mean, we don't have to go into the backstory, but that seems like was that a pretty common hobby?
Oh yeah, it's still going on today.
Okay.
Yeah, they still do it. My dad only just recently gave it up because he's now with a walker, but
but he didn't have to fly. I guess there's a lot.
No, he didn't fly.
No.
Yeah, he's hooked onto a little pigeon. There's a little rope coming down from him and say, "Come on, old man. It's a good thing you lost some weight."
We just have to get off the LA freeway and you'll be fine.
So so they would track them, though. They would track them, and then they would land where they're supposed to. So they're really smart.
That's incredible. So they would just fly home.
Yeah, they just flew home.
Okay.
Yeah, like we do.
Like Harry Potter's owls.
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what they are. So yeah, it's a whole thing. Well, so pigeons. So back to our story with B.F. Skinner. Pigeon behaviorist. Pigeons are strapped with a tiny little ankle bracelet, like the house arrest.
Yeah.
Is that the one you had?
Yeah. Well, mine I bejeweled, so mine wasn't like anybody else's.
I like that.
Yeah.
I would do like pink bejeweled.
I went with purple, but
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, you got to do it for the frogs. Oh. So you drive hundreds of miles from the lofts. You set them free. They somehow make it home. It's amazing. So the races, these guys actually win like $5,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because people are betting. It's like a horse race.
So do you bet on your own pigeons?
Of course you do.
Okay. So it's not like you're going in blind.
Yeah.
You know your pigeon's strengths. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, but there's no carrot.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking horse races. You kind of have to do your best at guessing. But if it's your own pigeons.
Yep. So back to the Pigeon Project. So before laser guided missiles, you had pigeon guided missiles.
Would that be PD instead of BC?
It's a PGM.
Okay. All right. Pigeon guided missile. Great.
Oh, this guy needed a hobby. All right. So yeah, they use their eyes. Mm-hmm. Like in Top Gun. Instead of using like an optical lens on the jet, yeah, they're just using their eyes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's Perry the pigeon. Right?
Is that why they look all crazy when you
They got
look
their
at
eyes
them?
all over the place?
Yeah,
I think that's why they have to wear a helmet, so their eyes focus on where they're supposed to.
Okay.
So they can become a laser-guided pigeon.
I need a helmet for my kids with their homework.
All right, so instead of Bob with the optical lens from Top Gun, we've got Perry the pigeon.
Perry the pigeon.
Yep. Now, Bob's called an NFO. That's what I did. I was a Navy flight officer, so that's Bob. But Bob was technically like a weapons systems officer because he flew in a fighter.
Oh.
I flew in Prowlers.
Okay.
Yeah, where our theme song was Burner, Burner. So I guess these pigeons would be called a PSO instead of a WISO, a pigeon systems officer.
What is PS? Oh, I was thinking POS.
Do they have a little rank on their collar? Like,
Oh, I
Like on
had
their little
3
wing?
feathers.
I love it. They're colored.
Instead of my stripes, they're feathers.
So Paige, how did it work?
I have no idea.
You
I can't
take a
even
guess.
guess.
You can't even guess?
So were they dropping poop on people?
That would be awesome.
Were they like
do that now.
suicidal pigeons?
Kamikaze pigeons.
Mind control. Okay, yeah, no, I'm out of guesses. That was it.
So the pigeon would sit in front of a screen. All right, so imagine this. There's a tiny screen. All right, so go back to like Pong.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the Pong video screen's in your mind, right? And there's
Yeah.
a dot in the middle of this screen.
Okay.
And the pigeon is standing there, and his little feet, his little claw feet, his
Talons.
little talons are standing inside a little treat box.
Oh.
And then there's a dot on the screen, and the dot is connected to a laser connected to the missile.
what?
And the pigeon pecks the screen. It pecks the screen.
Okay.
And then it gets a treat. So it pecks and it gets a treat and it pecks. And then eventually the missile goes to its target.
What?
Yep.
What?
That doesn't seem accurate to you?
No, that seems like let's just put shit in a big box and tumble it around and what? Pigeons
Yeah.
are dropping nukes? Is that what you're telling me?
That's what's going on. Yeah, so they're driving a missile,
Okay, I'm back.
a bird beak.
Okay. Uh-huh.
A bird beak.
This isn't real.
Yeah, it's real.
Okay.
That's the thing, it's real.
We're crying behind our tears. Okay, I can't wait to hear the rest. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the great thing about this, though, is that they don't have any, like, conscience. They're not going to have PTSD from this later.
No, but if the reward is a treat for dropping a bomb by pecking the Pong circle,
They don't know there's a bomb.
I'm just saying, what if we get a fat, hungry pigeon and he's like, peck, 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 peck.
Yeah. Well, it would be the most accurate targeting, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't
What about their little beak? Their little pecker?
What about GPS and humans with thumbs?
Yeah. Opposable even. So how did the pigeon-guided missile work? How did it work?
I don't even know if I want to know.
So we got the little pecker. He's pecking away, right? He's getting his treats. All right, so let's nerd out here. Here we go, men. You love these nerdy stuff. Even women love nerdy stuff. So the control system has one lens, and sometimes it has 3 lenses, and those are on the front of the missile.
Okay.
So the lens system was actually later used in a thing called the U.S. Navy BAT missile.
What? Another animal? Really? Or is that just the code name?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the lens was developed by the National Bureau of Standards.
Doesn't sound like it.
I love that name. The National Bureau of Standards.
The association of people associating to meet together.
It's like the U.S. group of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so the lens on the missile would project an image of the target to the screen inside where the pigeon would then peck the dot.
Inside the lens, strapped to the missile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
pigeon's not strapped to the missile.
But is
That would
it
be
in?
hilarious.
That's what I was thinking. That there's a
Missiles travel
lens.
too fast. They would rip right off like a fly on your windscreen.
They're basically free. So.
Yeah. No, the missile's out there and then the pigeon's inside.
Oh, so this is like remotely. It's
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what so there's like a communication system going on. So, and some places I read there might have been 3 pigeons that are pecking because what if one gets tired? Where's the missile going? Ah, Bob, it's off course.
Perry got full and dropped the ball. I mean, there just seems to be a lot of like what ifs in this war plan.
It's going to be great, Paige.
All right, Skipper.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Perry's full. Guys asleep now. What do we do?
Bring out Big George.
All right. So as long as the pack stayed in the middle of the screen, the missile would fly straight.
Okay, this was designed by men that I assume. I mean, if they're anything like
These
my
are men
son-
who stare at pigeons.
My son can't go to the bathroom in this huge hole.
Why can't you get it in the toilet?
Yeah, okay, carry
Yeah.
on. Carry on.
Well, the pigeons are advanced. They're an advanced species. So if the pecks were off center, the screen would tilt.
Oh.
And the missile would then change direction slightly on its way to its target. So despite thinking the same thing we're thinking, the National Defense Research Committee tossed the project $25,000.
Oh.
So, but that's $500,000 in today's money.
Dang, they still had money left over after people were trying to walk through walls, taking LSD, and now
Well, the LSD showed up later. This is in the 40s.
$500,000. Okay,
Yeah, all right, Skinner.
Uh-huh.
Get to it. Get your little peckers going. As we probably could foresee, eventually the Pigeon Project was canceled because it was considered eccentric and impractical.
Oh, so strange.
What the fuck? We just gave you $500,000 for a fucking bird. What?
What about one of those little water dipper birds? That
Yeah,
seems like that would be a more
that would be
mechanically
It would be more accurate.
reliable. Yeah.
You just add water to it. You don't even have to buy them food.
What if the pigeon dies? I mean, I could what if all day, but it took them.
Well, that's why there was 3. There was a whole crew.
It took them $500,000 and God knows how many pigeons to come up with that last assessment. Is that it was inaccurate and unreliable.
It was impractical, and
Impractical.
eccentric.
Okay, that's fair. I like the word eccentric. It sort of adds the level of craziness.
Well,
that
I wonder
needs
if there
to
was
be.
like a fancy chair, like a purple velvet chair, and that's what made it eccentric.
Or the pigeons had like certain headbands on, like Rocky. Ugh.
Oh, all right. So although he had some success,
Ugh.
Skinner complained that, quote, our problem was that no one would take us seriously, unquote.
No, man. That's not your problem.
I don't know why, Mr. Skinner.
All I can think of is The Simpsons. Principal Skinner, wasn't that his name?
Yep.
I could totally see him being like, this was the biggest obstacle. Everybody thought it was a horrible idea.
Yeah, it was canceled on October 8th, 1944, because the military believed that, quote, further prosecution of this project would seriously delay others, which in the minds of the division, whatever the division was,
Part of the Bureau.
have more immediate promise for combat application,
Yeah.
unquote.
Sticks and rocks. How about that?
Just kick him in the knee.
He's got balls, doesn't he? They could peck him in the balls. That would be a better plan, is to train the pigeons to fly straight into the
Nads.
aircraft or the nads. Yeah, if they're
I love
fighting
that.
on land. But
Yeah, we have way more advanced non-clown weaponry we'd like to employ.
I was on a flight recently where they had to go and get us a new plane because a bird had flown into. For those of y'all
Birds
who love
flying
birds,
into an intake is bad.
yeah, that seems like a more 50-50 plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Birds flying. That's actually a great idea.
Right? I
Unless
know.
it's a propeller plane. And then, maybe.
I bet we could get $500,000. Let's start putting together a proposal.
I know. Well, so Project Pigeon was actually revived
Oh no!
in
What?
the Navy in 1948, just a 4 years later, a mere 4 years. But now then they changed the name from Project Pigeon to Project Orcon.
Okay, to add some more. What is that?
Relevance?
Yeah.
Well, that stands for organic control.
Okay. Bring out the chickens. That's phase 2.
Chickens, man. They're so dumb.
Yeah.
Pigeons are at least smart. Yeah.
Okay.
All the good ones. So they decided once again that it was still dumb.
After 4 years of putting this on the back burner, I could understand maybe years
The thing
later.
is, like, the Navy will try anything. Seriously, like when I worked in San Antonio for this place, we would get requests. It's called a JUONS. It's a Joint Operational Needs. It's basically like we're getting shot at all the time by this new weapon and we don't know what to do. So can you like build us something and then send it to us? So we could avoid the red tape by building things in our van down by the river. And then we would mail it to them in Afghanistan to do a operational, quote, air quotes, operational test on it without having to go through the red tape.
So like a field fix.
Because they need it like right now instead of like 7 years from now.
Yeah, after it goes through Congress and out to bids.
And they're like, it's so eccentric and
like,
I don't even know.
But in the meantime, we have these radical pigeons attacking our...
Radical pigeons, man. Yeah, so in 1953, they canceled it for a second time.
Good.
You cancel culture. I mean, it's out there everywhere.
Think of the pigeons.
Yeah, so the Navy decided, like, maybe we should use electronic guidance systems because of their reliability.
Yeah.
And that was actually proven. Like, we tested that.
Okay.
And
that sounds fair. That sounds like a good plan.
But wait. We aren't done with dumb animal weapons.
Dumb animal weapons. Organic weapons, if you will.
Organic weapons, yes. You're right. So still in the 1940s, let's talk about those bat bombs.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about them. Now, if you don't want to hear about this, then you should skip forward, but there were some animals that were harmed. But it's a wildly hilarious story. So
let's hear it.
I don't want to make fun of bats, but it's whatever.
So you tell the story, but I've got to get this out of my head. So it's
get it out.
Bat bomb.
Bat bomb.
That is how they have to like release them, right?
They have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it plays right out of the airplane.
Okay.
Yeah. They got their little helmets on.
Dropping out like
I'm
Navy
going
SEALs.
for it. Yeah, they do a little twirl. So this one, this is awful. Because the government you're fucking terrible. I never killed anybody when I was in the military, so let's just clear that out. I just killed radars. That's all I did.
Bat has a combat list. He's got confirmed kills.
Yeah, they've got like ace bombs on the side of their little tail. So all right, super dumb military research project. Let's start. Bat bombs were an experimental World War II weapon developed by the United States. See, that's the thing. The United States was developing all these things because they thought that Russia was ahead of them.
Oh, yeah.
In all the things. And they're like...
In China?
That's why that's why it was a space race.
Yeah. Yep.
It's always a dick measuring contest with everyone in the government.
100%. I had this conversation.
Use your brains.
Yeah, the other day about... Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine this. All right. It's in your head. It's a metal canister. Mm-hmm. Okay. Bomb shaped. So it's got little fins and it's got a little pointy head like a crayon.
Or
Panic in a can. It's got a little pointy nose, right? And it looks kind of like a syringe.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's thin?
It's kind of syringe shaped.
So like a bow and arrow, like an arrow.
Just imagine it looks like a crayon, but it's metal and it's got holes in it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Tiny little holes in it. What are the holes for? All right. So the bomb canister.
Guano.
Yeah. the bomb canister would house hibernating bats. So they're asleep and they're like, go to war. Good luck. They don't even know what's happening.
I feel like we were just in Transylvania. Now we're in this big crayon tube.
So the bat that they chose was called the Mexican free-tailed bat. I don't know why it's free. Why is their tail free?
I didn't know they had tails.
Free the tail.
Free the bat tail.
All right, so the bats in a can would be housed inside a bomber and then dropped at dawn. Now, remember, guys, this is the 40s. We're at war with Japan, okay? We're going to make it through this episode, right, guys? People were killed during World War II. All right, so the canister would be dropped from a high altitude, which to them was a high altitude. I don't consider it a high altitude. It was around 5,000 feet.
Okay.
So over the target area.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the bomb, as the bomb with a sleeping bat in it slowed, a tiny parachute would come out and slow it even more. And the slowing process, falling through the sky, would warm up the bats, and then they would wake up.
You're plummeting to the ground. Yeah.
Oh, we got a parachute.
They think it has something to do with the weather. It's
Wake up. What's that mountain goat doing up here at 5,000 feet? I fell asleep in an apartment, and this is not what I expected. So awful.
What?
Bat trauma. Dun-na-na-na-na-na. So around 1,000 feet altitude, the bomb would open and deploy over 1,000 bats.
Did the bats have parachutes on?
Well, they can fly.
Okay.
They're awake now.
Yeah, that's been confirmed.
And they're like,
Holy shit, Steve!
Oh, it's opening! What the Why don't I get a parachute? Why is it on the metal part?
So what happens? What do they do? Do they plummet to the ground?
I like your question. That is a fantastic question. Who fucking cares about bats, right?
I mean,
Bats, who cares? Whatever, man. Have you been to Austin? Have you been to Austin where they have the bat colonies or whatever? And there's like literally millions of bats.
Under the highway, when you're driving by, you can see them.
So imagine that all those cute little bats and their cute little bat guano are carrying tiny, time-delayed napalm incendiary devices.
Oh, crud.
What's this on my chest?
I feel like I'm going to wake up and have a horn.
Also, whoever invented napalm, you're worse than whoever invented the treadmill and the alarm clock. You're terrible.
Well, or a spin instructor.
Yeah, they're the worst.
They're evil.
God. So the little bats who are traumatized just fell out of the sky and they wake up and now they got fucking napalm strapped to their chest. What the fuck? And humans are like, hey, so I have this idea. And then someone else was like, that's a great idea. And then they built the thing.
It sounds like a bunch of third grade boys got together with some crayons and drew
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, you know, it'd be awesome. And napalm, that seems like it's not easy to control. And so putting it on is he wearing like a pouch of it in the front?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a parachute because the parachute's back there a couple miles.
Poor guy. It's going to be...
Who's going to clean up all those canisters?
Oh, I thought murder hornets were the worst. It's going to be 2025, and they're like, breaking news, bats that can spit fire.
That's the war pterodactyl.
The war pterodactyl. Crap. It's evolved.
It's gotten smaller, and it's got napalm on its forehead.
And he's really pissed.
Coming for you. So the bats would fly like a 20 to 40 mile radius, and then they would roost inside flammable wooden Japanese buildings.
Oh, so no one's coming back from this mission.
We're not coming back.
No.
Perry.
I'm sorry.
So that's the thing. Like the bats are like, what the fuck? Why can't I peck a screen? I'll peck a screen. I don't want napalm on my body. I did not sign a contract for this.
This is not real.
It's real.
All I can think of are the Austin Bats now. They're like, man, it's ACL. We're listening to some good music. Then they wake up falling from a plane with napalm strapped to them.
It's awful. So they would roost in the eaves and attics.
Okay.
And then like no one's gonna notice them because who cares about a fucking bat? There are bats everywhere. And that's just a small quantity. There's only 1,000 of them.
If I had a bat in my house and he was wearing some type of fanny pack that dropped from the sky, I might give him a second look. But by then, my eyeballs have turned into gummy bears in my head.
Why do you have a hole in your skin?
Is that a Purple Heart you're wearing? I can't believe we even tried to tackle this.
Why does that bat
story.
have a tiny little hat on? Is that a helmet?
Is he doing the cha-cha?
Fuck. He looks dizzy.
Could you imagine if any of them escaped without the napalm going off? So they're like just
running
back
around
home with napalm dripping out.
Free the napalm! What the fuck?
I don't think bats are the best species to mess with either.
Well, they were asleep.
Well, I mean, they were until they became radioactive.
La la la, la la, just sleep.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bats hit the floor. So, all right. So they're stuck up in these eaves, right? They're having a great time.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to figure out why they're heavier than they were when they fell out of that fucking can earlier.
They've got one bat on the side who's trying to disarm everything.
Yeah. And so remember, the napalm devices are time delayed. Yeah. So to give them time.
This was in 1940?
In the 40s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the technology was. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the napalm device would then ignite at the same time. And thousands of tiny fires would just flare up all at once.
Oh, tiny fires. I mean,
so this bat is traumatized, right? So he just fell out. He woke up falling out of the fucking sky. Like DB Cooper over here. And then they're just going to light on fire. So what psychopath invented this flying death vampire Satan attack weapon? What the fuck? 1940? What is wrong with you?
I just laughed so hard I poked myself in the eye with my microphone. Was there some type of presentation that was given to the military?
Yeah, it was like the evil villain laboratory PowerPoint. What the fuck? So who invented this?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I want you to take a guess. I want you to take 3 guesses on the job description of the person who invented this idea. Go ahead. Over to you, Paige.
Oh, the job description. He was either somebody who worked with chemicals often in an unprotected area.
Nope.
Count Dracula.
Nope.
Or Donald Trump. Those are my 3 guesses.
None of those are correct.
Okay.
It was a dentist.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense.
A dentist.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
So Dr. Lytle,
he came up with bat bombs, so I don't...
So the dentist, Dr. Lytle, Lytle. I'm going to call him Little.
Yeah.
Because who the fuck invents this?
Wow.
Dr. Little S. Adams.
He was sniffing the funny gas.
He was sniffing something, all right. Well, he was a Pennsylvania dentist who happened to be friends with Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. And he was like, hey, Madam Prez, I got an idea. Dr. Adams submitted his animal cruelty / Japanese torture weapon idea to the White House.
Yeah, where's PETA in all this?
I know, exactly. I got an idea, guys. All right, so here it is.
And we're all sniffing on the gas.
Yeah, so 1942, President Roosevelt approved this fucking weird shit. So in his free time from his mobile dental unit in Pennsylvania.
Wait, mobile dental unit?
I just made that up, but I want him to have a mobile dental unit.
I'm thinking of Django, with the tooth that wobbles on the top.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Dr. Adams observed that Japan's infrastructure was especially susceptible to incendiary devices. That's what I think about when I'm at work. I think about how susceptible other people are to death.
So was he a dentist for the military?
Nah, he's just out there pulling teeth.
Wow.
And
they say dentists have a rough career path. So, okay, this guy's sitting in Pennsylvania thinking about Japan's.
Yeah, when I look at Japan, I don't think of cherry blossoms, Mount Fuji, and peaceful rivers. No.
Koi fish.
How can I burn that shit down?
Let's put bombs on the koi fish. Phase 3.
So, of course, their buildings are made of paper, bamboo, and a lot of flammable materials. So,
well, that's actually a really good point.
It's a great point. If you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
What?
He's a dentist.
But furthermore, we nuke Japan, and that is a whole other level.
Well, I think if you had told me the history behind, where this guy was coming from, I might have given him more credit, but knowing that he invented the bat bomb because he was a dentist. Okay, carry on.
I'm not going to your dental clinic.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What else are you thinking of? Are you thinking of the susceptibility of me?
Wow, that's creepy.
Yeah. So the bats are let loose, and eventually the timers would go off and burn the joint down. So the U.S. thought this was a great idea for the following reasons.
Okay, let's hear them.
Bats occur in large numbers, Austin.
So do bunnies.
Yeah. Oh, incendiary bunnies.
Stage 4. Those are released in April.
From the skies, from the ground, they're Navy SEALs. There's a little bunny with a fucking AK-47. Hacking down the bushes. They got a knife in their teeth.
So their reason was because there are a shitload of them. Okay.
Yeah, there's a shitload of them. And then bats are strong like bull. And they can carry more than their body weight.
Which,
if they're 3 ounces, they can carry 6 ounces of incendiary device.
Small bomb.
Tiny bomb. It's tiny bomb. Yes. They probably prefer just to carry their own kids.
Yeah.
Napalm is fine too. Whatever.
Baby's first meal.
Yeah. And then they hibernate, of course, just like bunnies.
Or bears or anything else that made sense to...
Napalm bears.
Yeah.
That's that cocaine bear.
Right? The cocaine
bear. This bear's eating over here, chomping down on fucking napalm bats. It's so good. Ooh, it burns hot.
I feel I need to dance now.
I need a glass of milk.
Wow.
Yeah, and then bats hibernate, so that's the other reason. So they can peacefully sleep while not consuming food and not object to the napalm backpacks they have.
I feel like there's so many. Couldn't we substitute the bats with anything else?
Anything else? Yeah. I'm dizzy from this story. It's ridiculous.
Too. Nobody raised their hand?
No.
Okay.
Maybe somebody did. Yeah, so and that's how PETA happened.
One body was blown up with a bat. Now they're all upset.
Yep. And so bats also fly in the dark. So they find cozy little places to hang out before they're burned alive by napalm. What the fuck? Seriously. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are you a dentist? Right in.
Yeah, I'm trying to sit here and think about my friends that are dentists. I'm like, nope, none of them.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a conversation about how to murder people with bats.
We should start asking more questions when we go to the dentist.
All right, so I'm interviewing you because you're a new dentist for our family, and I'm just wondering, have you ever thought about putting napalm on the back of a bat?
You know what we should do are those old experiments where they, the psychological ones, where they hold you an ink blot That's my test for my dentist.
What do you
see here?
The Warshak test.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Dr. Warshak, let's go. I need some truth from you. So by March of 1943, the U.S. chose the Mexican free-tail bat as their cuddly little death from above animal. What the fuck?
Wow.
I know y'all had morals and stuff back then. So it's war, boys. So Louis Pfizer, F-I-E-S-E-R, whatever.
Okay, but not the Pfizer.
Yeah, this is the guy who invented napalm.
Oh.
And the
him.
treadmill and the alarm clock. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Only napalm.
Okay.
But the other ones are just as bad.
Yeah.
So he was like, this is so awesome. I love your bat idea. Yeah. So I'll make sample sizes and we can like test it out. So he made 0.6 ounce and 1 ounce sample sizes to be carried by living animals.
Like little dime bags.
That's why they had that ankle bracelet.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what's going on
Because you
here.
may find the foot again.
They're all coked up. They can't figure out why they can't fly
Flying
straight.
in circles.
Fucking dime bag.
Boots, 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 playing in the back.
So the bats were placed in a bomb in casings. So imagine you have like the tiny little crayon bomb, right? And it's got like shelves in there. And so you could, and that's the casing. And then it stored 26 stacked tray compartments for 40 bats. Yeah, so this model holds 40 bats. Now, the napalm, we can only do the little dime bag size because otherwise it's going to be too heavy and like the counterbalance, you know how it goes.
So here's a dumb civilian question. And you weren't there, so I get it.
I wasn't there.
But taking your best guess as a former... yeah. Who puts the napalm on the bat? Whose role is that? Is that a private? Is that an officer?
Is it a pigeon? Can you train a pigeon to strap the napalm onto the bat?
That's the pecking.
Yeah.
There
Is there like duct tape? Is there a tiny backpack?
No, because you need thumbs. You need opposable
There's
thumbs.
like a little tiny backpack on there, and then the strap, it's got like a little buckle because it can't go around the wing. It's too big.
Bring in the monkeys.
Yeah, is it like Gorilla Glue?
So are these like soldiers that are having to like strap them, shove them into these
They're
cases?
not getting paid for their PTSD. I'm telling you that now.
Wow.
Yeah. So no need to pay rent, guys. You won't be living there for very long. So they were dropped from 5,000 feet, slowed by a tiny parachute that opened to release the death by napalm in a cute little flying package.
Dang.
So the B-24 bombers were supposed to fly from Alaska, and then they would eventually release 1,040,000 bats.
How has the world not ended after this project? It feels like it could have gone really, really, really badly.
Like, does it get extinguished a little bit because it's attached to like organic material?
Yeah, and
how does that work?
Walk me through napalm. So most people in the military...
You're going to have to walk us through napalm. I don't know how to use that shit.
I mean,
Google it.
Okay. No, I'm not asking like how to make one at my house. I'm just like...
How to make a bomb in the kitchen of your mom? That's a real book, by the way.
No, really?
Oh, yeah, that's what terrorists use. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Napalm.
What is this? Like, let's say we're sitting here and some bat flies in and drops a dime bag of napalm on us. Does it have to be ignited for it to be bad juju, or is it bad stuff because
it said they were time released.
Okay, but napalm
really
in general, like the people on the napalm watch, the people that have to like bag it up, and are they like, did they walk out of there?
Do you think they washed their hands after they put it on the bat?
They probably didn't have the COVID washing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
You should Google that real quick. Napalm. A highly flammable sticky jelly used in incendiary bombs and flamethrowers consisting of gasoline thickened with special soaps. Verb. Attack with bombs containing napalm.
Okay.
You can look for some more stuff if you want to. All right, so they're releasing, so these B-24 bombs, they're flying from Alaska, and they're releasing 1,040,000 bat bombs over Osaka Bay, Japan.
Wow.
I can't believe we were friends with the Japanese today. They're very forgiving. What the you found it? She found a bat bomb picture. Is it holding the
It
napalm?
looks like it's strapped around its neck, and as its
neck.
Look,
Like a necklace.
like a bomb strapped around a bat's neck. I don't know what I was expecting a fanny pack, but that is
I was expecting a fanny pack too. I don't know why I didn't look that picture up.
That's crazy. If y'all have to look this up as you're listening to this, you have to look up the pictures.
It's wild.
All right.
Yeah.
On.
So how did we figure out if it's going to work? Well, Paige, we've got to test it.
Mm-hmm.
So at the Carlsbad Army Auxiliary Air Base, the CAB.
Commit to it.
CAB. Near Carlsbad, New Mexico, the facility accidentally caught on fire, and in May of 1943, armed bats were released out into the wild.
What? Because it didn't work out?
It's the Army.
Oh.
They were running tests on it, and they accidentally released bats with napalm on them in the United States. You deserve it.
What part of the United States?
Well, it's New Mexico. So the bats proceeded to set the entire facility, including the test range, on fire because they roosted under fuel tanks.
Oh. Didn't think that one through, did we, folks?
That's a literal burn.
Whoa.
The bats are like, fuck you, man.
Yeah, if I'm going,
You're going down.
Yeah. Wow.
You deserved that. All right. So following this setback, the gun...
John doesn't have eyebrows anymore.
Yeah, the government took it away from the Army idiots and gave it to the Navy.
Oh, okay.
Who renamed it Project X-Ray. Pew, pew.
It's because they can see my insides with the napalm.
What happens if you eat it? It's like a jelly donut, right?
Well, and how do you keep them from breeding? Because that was the benefit of having bats, is having lots of them. Are they like now this...
They're like napalm breeding?
Napalm bats.
Do they move it out of the way to breed? I've never seen a bat breed.
Yeah.
Now I have other questions.
I know. I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent. I'm just thinking, like, if we're going through this experiment and they're having babies with the napalm on them.
Well, they're just trained up from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So eventually the Navy did what it always does, and they gave things that explode and catch fire to the Marine Corps.
Okay.
So the Marines moved it to El Centro, California. Okay, so El Centro. Have you been to El Centro, listener? Have you? We call it El Sueto. Okay. But it's also known as El Sueto, but there is the best food truck that's outside of the base, and they just sit there. It's a burrito truck.
Is it's great. Bat burrito?
Maybe.
Is it genuinely?
You can get this one with or without napalm.
Guano is extra.
I'll take the guano on the side.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm on a diet. So they proceeded to, and this is the Marine Corps out in El Sueto, so they proceeded to conduct testing. And had I known about this, I think I would have been sick for that detachment that I went to in El Centro. What does El Centro mean? The middle. Right in the middle.
You're so smart.
I know, right in the middle of the desert. All right, so the Marines created a mock Japanese village that was built by the Chemical Warfare Service.
Sounds legitimate.
The Chemical Warfare Service.
That's who I thought would have been the one who came up with the bat bomb.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Oh, they were like, oh, that dentist has an awesome idea.
Yeah. We can put it into action.
Dave, how come you didn't think of that?
Yes, idiot.
So they're doing this testing at the Dugway Proving Grounds in Utah. So now we're moving to Utah. So we're just napalming.
We're just covering
from New
the entire
Mexico
West
to
Coast.
yeah, from New Mexico to California to
That's why it's falling into the ocean now.
Yeah, so I love this. I just can't get past the chemical warfare service. At your service. Do you need to conduct chemical warfare?
Is that a job that you get? I mean, imagine with the military, you've explained to me, you don't get choices, but is that like...
Oh, no. So places like that is probably run mostly by chemists, and then there's some military, like active duty military that are there too.
Okay, it's not like you drew the
oversee,
short straw.
Yeah, oversee the doctors who probably have, they're doctors of chemistry or something.
Just like the dentist.
Yeah. Well, do you have a pesky neighbor? Yeah. Call the Chemical Warfare Center Service. So testing went well. If murdering bats and people is up your alley for success, then that was a success.
Okay.
All right. So the chief of incendiary testing, why is that a job title? At Dugway wrote, quote, "A reasonable number of destructive fires can be started in spite of the extremely small size of the units," a unit being a bat.
A bat.
A live animal. Mm-hmm. So unit. The main advantage of the units would seem to be their placement within the enemy structures without the knowledge of themselves. They didn't say that, I did. Of the householder or fire watchers, thus allowing the fire to establish itself before being discovered, unquote. So they're small animals and they hide themselves in corners of attics and stuff, and nobody notices that giant thing hanging off their neck.
And until the boom goes off.
It's like the bling, the 1985 rapper bling.
Yeah. That explanation makes more sense to me than anything else that's been said today, is that they can get themselves into little nooks and crannies, and if they were using something, I don't know, non-organic, it would be hard. I mean, that's the natural part.
Yeah, they would notice a bomb in the corner.
Yeah.
They're like,
although if you look at the picture with the bat and the bomb, it looks like a bat with a bomb.
Yeah, it's like hanging upside down with this thing, and then all of a sudden his headlight's on fire. What the fuck? He's like, I haven't had my coffee yet. So the National Defense Research Committee, the NDRC, observers stated, quote, "It was concluded that X-ray," talking about Operation X-ray, "is an effective weapon," unquote. The chief chemist report stated that on a weight basis, 0.6 ounces, X-ray was more effective than the standard incendiary bombs in use at the time, the 40s. So, quote, "Expressed in another way, the regular bombs would give probably 167 to 400 fires per bomb load, where X-ray would give 3,625 to 4,748 fires."
So little fires, but spread out, and they're not usually caught, so it turns into a big fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tiny little fires everywhere.
Could you imagine if we used bears instead?
Bear fires. Coked up bear fires.
Okay.
So more tests were scheduled, but Fleet Admiral Ernest J. King canceled them when he heard they wouldn't be combat ready until mid-1945.
Damn it, boot camp's not over until the end of the year.
This is what I'm talking about with those Jew-ons, because they have to do all this testing when they could have just sent them out there and hoped for the best. But instead they had to do all the bureaucratic crap, and now it's not gonna show up until after the war's already over, after we already nuked them.
All these bat bombs for naught.
And they were roosting under a fucking fuel tank.
Now they live in Austin.
Now they live in Austin, and they're telling stories. Yeah, my grandpappy.
Back in my day.
Yeah, I got this busted wing from the fucking napalm wars, man.
The napalm wars of 45, and that's it.
Grandpa, tell me stories about napalm.
Why do you have 6 eyes?
Why do you have a hole in your chest? It's fucking terrible.
What's that necklace you've got on?
Well, by then they had spent around $2 million on the project.
Holy crap.
$2 million back then.
About 5, 6 now?
Ish. Yeah, and they were overshadowed by a more murderous project,
Oh, no.
the atomic bomb.
Okay. As long as it's not an animal.
Yeah. So, y'all need therapy. I need therapy after this episode.
I really, this was a funny episode for me, but the fact that it's real, I'm not going to sleep tonight.
You don't need to sleep. I'd rather watch Saw.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so that's the two experimentations. There's more. There's not today.
That's wild. So
Yeah.
there's another one you're gonna
There's more
cover later.
Yeah, the U.S. government's great.
Oh, I love it. This has been a huge eye opener for me. We've covered pigeons, bats, goats.
Yeah,
Who knows? Do you know if there are any type of experiments going on like this today?
Well, it'd probably be secret or top secret. I don't
Murder
know.
hornets.
Well, it was probably the U.S. government that invented those.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Carl, you left the cage open. Fuck.
Damn it. At least it wasn't with a grizzly bear back there. Oh, thank you for sharing that story. That both of those scare me and terrify me, but made me laugh harder than I've laughed in a while.
It's wild. I mean, I don't understand.
Well, if you love it, come back for more.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of, that would be camo and cover up, I think.
Yeah, it would be camouflage and cover up with bad guano.
I'm never going to look at a pigeon the same way.
Love you guys. In conjunction with the Coming Home Well Network, this has been a Clear Right production.